you going to do when you retire? We'll get to Joe Biden. This is about to be Joe Biden for a few minutes. But what do you think about when you retire? I'm only 43. I think about it. I'm not retiring. Don't worry. I'm not going anywhere. I love what I do. I'm the most blessed person in the world. But I thought about it. What am I going to do when I retire? You want to know what I'm going to do? I have plans, big plans. I'm going to get a house wherever the grandkids happen to be. Lord willing, I have some by then. And I am going to have hopefully an acre or two. I don't need anything big. Just a little bit of space so the neighbor's not peeing on the side of my house, but close enough to the grandkids so I can go to whatever sports games or concerts or whatever thing they're going to do. And that's what I'm going to do in retirement. See, I've thought about it. Isn't that similar to yours? Whatever it is, maybe you're going to travel the world, buy an RV, but you have plans for retirement. That's what normal people do. That's how normal people think. But then there's these politicians. I'll never get it. Really celebrities in general, but politicians, it seems to really plague them. They can't ever just go away. When you're older and financially able to do so, don't you want to just go away and go enjoy your family and go enjoy your life in some way like you're planning on, like I'm planning on? Nope. Joe Biden has emerged from hiding. The former president, who's obviously on the back nine of his life, and let's be honest, he can see the clubhouse from where he's at. Joe Biden has emerged from hiding to do a sit-down television interview. Now, what's the motivation behind it? Well, this is about Jill Biden. Let's do a system talk before we get to Joe Biden coming out. Remember, the system takes care of its own. If you are a loyal member of the system, you are never out of work, out of a job. You may transition from this job to that job, from this sector to that sector, but you're never out of a job as long as you're a communist in the United States of America, a Democrat in good standing in the United States of America. You will work for the White House. And then when that election is over, when that presidency is over, you'll work for MSNBC. And then when that's over, maybe you'll go work for Harvard for a while. This is how this works. These people never go into the private sector to actually contribute anything to our country, to our society at all. They just find new and inventive ways to bloodsuck money out of the taxpayer because they're good standing members of the system. Jill Biden, you didn't think she was just going to retire as the first lady with private security and money and everything she could ever want. You didn't think she was going to retire. She got a sweet new gig. She's running the Women's Health Network at the Milken Institute. Now, you don't know what any of that is. You don't know what the Milken Institute is. You don't know what the Women's Health Network is. Neither do I, but let me spoil it for you because I don't have to look it up at all. The Milken Institute, without even looking it up, I would be willing to bet is staffed by all Democrats. It finds ways to raise large sums of money from either donors or maybe even the taxpayer themselves. And it serves as a slush fund to hand out money to Communist Party members in good standing, members like Jill Biden. And because Jill Biden loves the spotlight, she's not just going to take a gig like that and bring in God knows how much money a year, $1 million a year, $500,000 a year. I'm sure they're treating her quite well. She has to go drag poor old Poppy Joe out for an interview to help get her more publicity. Now, let me go ahead and spoil it for you here. It's a BBC interview, and it's the most edited softball thing in the world. They're not going to take any chances with poor old Joe at this point. Even then, he couldn't get through the thing.
I do fear a little bit. And I don't think it's been forgotten by the people. I think it's being forgotten by the leadership a little bit. Excuse my cough. The fact is that, he doesn't say it is. And I think the rest of the world, I know, and I can tell you, the last meeting of the G7, meeting the NATO 7, anyway, or the G20, which is a larger group. No, they don't have a point. Look, you have of all the NATO nations.
So back to what we were talking about, why is he here? Joe Biden is an old man, U.S. Senator for a long time, United States President for 4 years, sadly. We all suffered through that, but as far as resumes go, pretty good one for life. He has a wife, children, such as they are, grandchildren, at least the ones he acknowledges. He has a family, has a place. From what I understand, he loves spending time on that rich person place, Nantucket, out there. Why did they dress him up, put makeup on him, throw him in a suit, and let him go embarrass himself again? Because these people can't ever go away. I find it to be so odd. None of them have your retirement plans or my retirement plans. I don't understand it. Just go away. He's still talking about the 2024 election.
Should you have withdrawn earlier, given someone else a bigger chance?
I don't think it would have mattered. We left at a time when we had a good candidate. She was fully funded. And what happened was, I had become, what we had set out to do, no one thought we could do. And become so successful in our agenda, it was hard to say, no, I'm going to stop now. I meant what I said when I started, that I think I'm prepared to hand this to the next generation. It's a transition government. But things move so quickly that it made it difficult to walk away, and it was a hard decision, but
regrets though?
No, I think it was the right decision. I think that it was just a difficult decision.
But you shouldn't have taken it earlier.
Well, I don't think so. I mean, I don't know how that would have made much difference.
Well, that clears everything up. Jeez. And he was president, and this is edited. He's not even a candidate anymore. There's nothing else. This was just as controlled as it could get. And that guy was just president for 4 years. Every answer, just sitting there trying the best he could to make his mind work. He's even got the squinty thing going. Anyway, he did talk about Trump.
When you talk of a threat to democracy, worry about a threat to democracy here at home, here in the United States.
I'm less concerned about that than I was, because I think the Republican Party is waking up to what Trump is about.
Do you think they may fight back?
I think the beginning, yes.
But you will know people see laws apparently being broken, courts ignored, Congress sidelined. They don't like what they see.
Well, I think they're seeing that too. I think that's why I don't think he'll succeed in that effort.
Now that was the most revealing part of the interview. Notice what he said right there, and did you see the look on his face? Republicans are starting to push back. He's right about that. Notice how pleased it makes him? So let's do a little analogy here before we talk about those Republicans. Because I know you're angry about the communist infiltration of your country in every aspect of your life, every part of the government. And I know you want it stopped, and you're also probably looking for answers about how this happened. So I want you to picture a security guard. I used this analogy on the radio the other day. Security guard who's in charge of guarding a school, kindergarten. And every single day at this school, 10 bad guys show up to hurt the kids. And the security guard stops 9 of them. But the 10th one, every single day, he lets him in on purpose. And he hurts the kids. Let me ask you something. Is that a good security guard? He stops 90% of the bad guys? No, I think we'd both agree that he's an evil piece of trash who's pretending to do his job, but the fact that he's screwing over the kids makes him evil. That's the GOP. That's the Republican Party. It's certainly people like Senator Naked Ken Doll James Lankford of Oklahoma. You see, I want you to know something. If you're angry about the state of things in Washington, D.C., the state of communist infiltration inside the United States government, yes, the Democrats are the communists who are doing the infiltrating, but it is the establishment GOP that holds the door open for them when it really matters so they can infiltrate and walk right into the school. Would you like to know? Would you like a face for that? Here's a face for that.
What's been confusing on this is some people see due process like as an American citizen. That's a right to a jury trial. That's all those different things. That's not true for due process for someone who's not a citizen of the United States. It's a different process. It's often just literally what people call an immigration judge is not a typical federal judge or a state judge. This is someone that's in the bureaucracy that their task for DHS is that task on it. So they're a government employee career. That's an immigration judge. So it's a very different process for it. But yes, there's a need to be able to give an opportunity for someone to be able to make an argument before they're removed in the country. It's just who is that and what is that process?
Oh, yes. I realize the communists brought in 20 million people. I, James Langford, tried to help them bring in more. Remember, that man stood with Democrats trying to pass an amnesty bill last year, giving Democrats cover on the issue. And now that the Trump administration is trying desperately to get these people out, we have United States senators from red states going on television talking about the need for due process for all these illegals, of course. Of course. It is red state GOP senators that are holding the door open for communists to destroy this country. Look at Ed Martin. Look at this Ed Martin situation right now. Ed Martin needs to be the top dog, the top U.S. attorney in the D.C. area. That D.C. court system is the most evil court system in the history of this country. It is on par with the evils of the Soviet Union's court system. That's how bad it is there. And so it must be cleaned out. Ed Martin's there trying to get it cleaned out. We have a GOP Senate. Why isn't he being cleared? Because red state Senator Tom Tillis is stopping it, which of course begs the question, where's leader John Thune at? Why isn't John Thune getting this whole thing in order? John Thune was asked about it. John Thune chose to, well, this is in politics known as punting the football, just handed it back to the committee.
Ed Martin, obviously, is a decision that's going to have to be made by the Senate Judiciary Committee. My understanding is they haven't scheduled anything on that yet. So, we will cross that bridge if and when we come to it. But it's ultimately going to be a decision that the Judiciary Committee makes first.
Hey, it's up to the Judiciary Committee. Of course, he knows Tom Tillis on the Judiciary Committee is going to blow the entire thing up. But they're all trying to do the dance. Let's stop any real reforms. We want to stop anything. We don't want anything to change, but we don't want to risk Trump's wrath either. John Cornyn sat on the sidelines. John Cornyn has a primary next year. A primary he's currently losing according to the polls. He sat on the sidelines with this whole Ed Martin thing right up to the point where he found out Tom Tillis was going to blow up the nomination. Then he came out and supported Ed Martin so as not to risk Trump's wrath. That's how it works in D.C. The Republican Party, namely GOP senators from red states, are the ones holding the door open for communism. Remember that. All that may have made you uncomfortable, but I am right. I would thank you for coming to my YouTube channel, but I know how brilliant it is, and I know you love it here. So subscribe and watch. We're going to start really ramping things up and putting some funny stuff, some interesting stuff out there, some collaborations. Either way, my YouTube channel is officially the place to be. So stick around.